Hi guys! Today I wanted to show you a little bit about the different bridle types that I use. We have some bit bridles, we have some bitless bridles, so there's a couple different kinds. What are you guys doing? We have some Western, some English, some kind of halter style. Moo is getting really impatient in the background because he thinks there's going to be some food happening. They saw me making their dinner a few minutes ago, so they're trying to see if they're getting dinner, but they're not getting dinner quite yet. And before I show you all the different bridle types, I also just wanted to take you over here and show you a little bit about what we do as far as like some housekeeping maintenance stuff, because of course the horses are big animals. They do eat a lot, they poop a lot, and they pee a lot, and so there's just a little item that I use that helps us kind of control some of the odors and just make it a much more pleasant environment for them. So if you come with me, I'll show you what I use, and yeah, I hope that this helps somebody out. Come on. So this is a product known as PDZ, and it just helps counteract the ammonia smell in the urine. So it's marketed as a stall product, but even though our horses are outside, it does really help reduce the odor and just make things more pleasant. So I'll show you how I apply this, and you can follow me. Moo is just checking out our product here. So you can see down here on the ground, this is the area that the ponies have decided this is their potty. So some horses will just kind of like pee or poop all over, but in this case the horses really like this one spot. I don't know, I guess it's smelly, so they like to keep peeing over here. I'll just take a little bit of this powder, that's not food buddy, and I'll just sprinkle it over this spot. Mooney is helping. He's not really that helpful. My parents have chickens, and this PDZ product also really helps with like chicken type smells, so all around good for stinky stuff on the farm. There's a couple other little pea spots, so I'll just kind of turn up the ground a little bit because these are drier. And sprinkle it on, and cover it back up. Mooney insists that there's some food happening here, but there's no food. I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry, buddy. Okay, scooch over. Stop standing in your own pee, for goodness sake. Out of the way. Look at them. They're play fighting for dominance. He's trying to bite his face. Oh, buddy. Ooh. MOONPIE is a teenager now, so he's just doing a little challenge play to see if he can come out on top. He hasn't yet. So now we're back in the shed, we're done with a little cleanup, and I'm just gonna take you through our bridles here, and I'll gather up a few, we'll take them out by the ponies, and I'll show them to you, all the different types, and talk a little bit about each different type and what they're kind of used for, their different strengths, and yeah, if you guys want me to go more in depth in this, we can always have another video, but for now it's just a basic overview of a few different types of Western and English bridles. It's nice that the horses want to come down here and be with us. Even though we're not planning on doing anything with them just yet, I will ride MOONPIE a little bit later on today, but for now let's talk about our different bridles. I'm going to start with this one, and this is one of APACHE's bridles. Hey, bud. And it's brown because I actually wanted to get a color that matches him, but most bridles do come in black or brown. And also depending on like the different discipline, hey, that's a finger. Depending on the different discipline, you might be more likely to find a black one or a brown one. So for example, like English dressage riding is usually more black leather bridles. And they do come in like real leather and also fake leather. Also like for Western riding, they're usually brown. For English riding, for like hunter jumpers, those are also usually brown, so it depends, but you could find them in other colors if you want to get them more to match the horse. This is probably our most normal bridle for English riding. And I got it before Apache started doing a lot more Western riding. I was trying to transition him to an English horse, so that's why he has this English bridle here. This is the Rambo Micklem Multibridle, and that just means it has like multiple uses. There's different configurations that you can put this one on. It has the reins here, and there's different types of reins that come with bridles. These are actually purchased separately. They're like a webbed, it's just like a different grip for the different reins depending on what you like. It's totally your preference. And then here we have most of the bridle. You have like the brow band that goes across the forehead. You have a nose band which goes across the top of the nose, and because this one is a multi-bridle, it has like a little ring for lunging or for like halter attachments, which is kind of cool. You don't have to like switch back and forth. This one has a cheek strap instead of a throat latch, so it goes actually underneath the cheek. And it has also a band that goes underneath the chin as well, so the chin strap here. And this has a more traditional bit setup, which I will show you. This is a double jointed snaffle bit. It's a loose ring snaffle, which means that it just like slides on the ring here, and it's double jointed because it has two segments in the middle, so that means it's a little bit less harsh. When you have the horse's tongue underneath it, it will kind of bend around the tongue instead of some of them have a joint in the middle, and that just kind of folds over the tongue. So this is a little bit milder. This is called a happy mouth bit, and it's made out of like a little plastic, so it's a little bit easier on them than metal. If their teeth do bump into it at all, it's a little bit more comfortable. The only thing to watch out for with these happy mouth bits is they do, if your horse likes to chew on things, they do tend to get like a little bit beat up very quickly. So they look like this after just like a couple of uses, honestly. If your horse likes to chew on things a lot, I would probably recommend more of like a metal bit. Just because you do have to make sure to really file down those sharp points. They recommend replacing them when it starts to get chewed up like this, but it looked like this after like 2 rides, so I don't want to replace it every 2 rides. So definitely just making sure that everything is smooth and there's no sharp points in there that are going to bother him in his mouth. And when you want to store the bridle, you just take the reins and put them up here. So you hold everything up here. I like to just put it on my arm so my hands are free. You take your cheek strap or your throat latch and you just wrap it around the bridle. You put the leather through. These are the leather keepers, these little bits that slide around. They're called keepers. Yep. And then you can also tie your chin strap around too, or you can just put your reins through there if it's already done up. And this will just keep it from getting tangled if you have it stored next to other tack. Because I just showed you another Rambo Micklem Multibridle, I'll show you this one, which is set up with a different configuration. This one is the same thing, but it's a little bit smaller size, and it's in black because this is MOONPIE's bridle. So all the same pieces here. I'll just undo it and show you. This one actually has different reins. These are like rubber reins, so they actually have a little better grip, and I do like these quite a bit. Let's see. Now you can see it has the brow band, it has the nose band here, the same little lunging attachment. But then this one, because there's no bit inside of here, so you see there's no metal pieces that go inside of the mouth. This one just has like a under the chin strap here. And it has like an extra attachment, which makes it just slightly stronger because MOONPIE does like to pull. You can also attach these reins just directly onto the side, and that would make it more of a gentle bridle because then you would be just pulling directly from one side or the other. But with this little chin attachment, it does also apply a little bit of pressure underneath the chin as well when you pull, so it helps turn the horse's head. But this one's pretty mild, and MOONPIE does go very well in this one. He likes it a lot. He doesn't refuse to put it on or anything. If I hold it up, he'll put his head in it himself. So that's how I know he's feeling pretty comfortable with that. And we'll just wrap this one up again for storage, and I'll move on. So this is another one of MOONPIE's bridles, and it's in black because it matches him. It was actually a little bit tricky to find a bridle like this to use for English dressage riding that was black but does not have a nose piece, so I'll just take it apart and I will show you what pieces it has. So it has the reins. These are a web type rein again, where you can see that it has just like intermittent leather pieces on it, so these help you kind of guide your hands how long the reins are. Put that aside. And then this bridle, it has a brow band, it has a throat latch. So this throat latch will go underneath here, underneath the throat, and this is designed to be a little bit looser. And then you can see this bridle, it actually has, here, let's flip it around. It actually does not have a noseband that goes across here. So there's no noseband, which is nice. It doesn't put any pressure on the top of the nose. And I went with this one because MOONPIE had previously been ridden in a Western bridle, and a lot of Western bridles, they do not have any sort of noseband attachment. And for him, when I was trying to use the Rambo Micklem Multibridle with the noseband and the bit, it was just too much stuff going on in the lower half of his face, and he just could not get used to it. So I found him one that's very similar to his old Western bridle that he went in before I bought him, and I just changed out the bit here. So this is another loose ring snaffle. You can see that this moves on the ring here, and then it has a bit guard, which is like this little rubber piece, and that just helps keep the sides of his mouth from getting pinched in the bit, because the sides of his mouth are a lot more sensitive. So APACHE, he doesn't seem bothered at all by his bit, but MOONPIE, sometimes I would take off the bit and I would see like the corners of his mouth were a little bit red, and so that's why I got the bit guards for him. And this is another double jointed loose ring snaffle. This one has more of an anatomical shape, so it's kind of interesting, but it is a metal bit because both of the horses, like I said, they do like to chew on the bits, so that's why I switched out from using the happy mouth to just like a regular metal bit. APACHE's so patient. He thinks there's definitely something going to happen. Yeah, buddy. He has a little grass stain on his nose. I'll clean him up later. So here we have a Western bridle, and this one is APACHE's because it's brown, so it matches him. This is called a bosal hackamore. So that, like, hackamore type bridles are types of bridles that don't have bits, so you can see there's no metal piece that goes in the mouth here. For this bridle, here are like some rope type reins, and they actually come attached with a lead rope. So you have like the reins, which are like a rope. You can get them in different materials, and then the lead rope is actually attached onto the bridle. So they're all tied on down here. Has like a little horsehair thing down here. Actually, I don't know what this is called, but it just is both decorative and it helps keep like flies off of their chin. So yeah, this is another leather bridle, and this one has the brow band. It has a throat latch that goes underneath the throat here. And then this, he's done, he's bored. This part just goes over his nose, and this is the bosal part. And it's made with like a rawhide leather, so it is designed to be a little bit stiff and exert some pressure. This is not the most gentle type of bitless bridle, so bitless bridles come in a lot of different strengths, and this one is actually a little bit harsher than the one that just pulls from the side of the mouth, because this thing is actually quite heavy, and it does have, you know, a stiffness to it as well. So when you pull on one side, say you're pulling the reins to the left here, this part will actually exert some downward pressure like this on the nose to help the horse turn the nose. So you have to be a little bit careful and a little bit gentle with your hands too. If you have not done any research before buying a bosal, I would highly recommend just researching a little bit how to ride in it, because it is slightly different from other types of bridles. This is the last bridle that I have to show you, and actually this is kind of a cross between a halter and a bridle. Basically it is a typical typical Western rope halter. This one does have little knots across the noseband, so it's slightly stronger, because again, this one is for APACHE. When I first got him, he did not have any bridles, he had a halter, so we were riding in the halter as we were trying to order a bridle that would fit him, and he does get a little bit fast, so the halter was just not strong enough, and he would run through it. So we got the rope halter that has like the little knots on it, just because when you pull back, it does put a little bit of pressure right across the nose to get him to pay a little bit more attention. And this is actually a pretty gentle bitless option. If your horse goes well in it, I would recommend like a rope halter type. This one has rings already attached. It's called a side pull rope halter, and you attach the reins on here. Ta-da, reins. And these are the rubber reins. Again, you can see they have a nice grip on there. This rope halter also has a long lead rope attached to it, so I'll just put all that out of the way so you can see better here. It's adjustable. It's highly adjustable, actually. That's why we got this type while we were waiting for the bridle to arrive, just because we thought it would definitely fit, and we weren't really sure if the bridle would fit. So you can adjust the rope halter. This part goes underneath their throat, and this goes on the bottom. Then this part goes on top of the nose. The only thing I've found with the side pull type of rope halters is that sometimes, say the horse is wearing it like this, when you pull on the reins, this whole thing will slip down like this, and then this part of the rope gets up near their eye. So I actually would recommend more to like attach them down here. I've seen some rope halters that do not have the side pull attachments, and they just attach down here, and these little they look like little chicken giblets down at the bottom, but then when you're pulling, it doesn't slide around so much. This rope halter is actually not very good quality rope, so I would recommend investing in one that has a little bit better quality rope, because you can see we actually had to like zip tie the knot down here because it kept just like opening up, and then the whole thing would fall off of his face. So I don't really use this one anymore. We were really careful with the zip ties to not put the like the sharp ends anywhere near his skin, but I don't really use this one that much anymore because in my opinion it doesn't work as well. So I would look into it if you really need something as like an emergency basis while you're waiting for like a real bridle to arrive, but I would definitely invest in something that kind of fits their face a little bit better, because you don't want it slipping and sliding around as you're trying to turn on the horse and getting anywhere near their eye, or just getting uncomfortable. And also if it's sliding around, then your signals that you're giving them are not going to be as clear to the horse, and that's just going to confuse them. So yep, this is our last option, and yeah, those are just the ones that I have. If you have any questions about any of these different bridles, then definitely just let me know in the comments below, and I would be happy to answer more questions, or even do like a video that's more in depth about each of the different bridle types. But for now, I'm going to put them all up, and then I'll just kind of show them all to you so that you can see them all side by side. That you guys have enjoyed this video. Here are all of the bridles lined up in order of weakest to strongest, and I hope that you found this informational. And if you guys want me to do more in-depth looks at different bridles or at different bits as well, I usually like bitless, as you can see, but I have done some research on which types of bits are a little bit more mild. So if you guys are interested, let me know in the comments section below. Thank you for joining us today here at Painted Horse Hill, and we'll see you again very soon.